All right. I have that it is 2 o'clock. So we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks for coming back after our code of conduct training for this important training on one of our student retention strategies, which is early alert. Doreen Dougherty is going to lead us through this. She works on student retention initiatives, but also helps with the Office of Accessibility. So Doreen, thanks for doing this for us today.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks for having me. Welcome to everybody. Thanks for joining us. I hope everyone has a great fall semester. So we're going to talk about navigate early alerts today. Mainly the kind of topics we're going to cover are going to be the types of concerns that are frequently handled in student services, and then alerts, cases, and progress reports, and the differences between those and when to use them, and then how to issue alerts, and then how to respond to your progress reports. The last thing we're going to cover is the importance of faculty participation and what you can do to help out. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Let's see. There we go. Can you all see that? Good. All right, great. So we'll go ahead and get started here. So my name is Doreen Dougherty. I am currently helping out as the interim retention coach. I am also the administrative office specialist and office specialist for student services, retention, and the Office of Accessibility, which used to be Office of Disability Support Services for anyone who's not quite aware yet. And then also the care team support coordinator. So I help out a lot with the food pantry, the clothing closets, all those kind of things we do through student services. So we'll go ahead and get started. Let me see if I can get to the next slide. See, it doesn't want to go forward. Can you see the second slide? No, it's not going. Let me see.
It's gonna seem like a weird question, but are you the host or have been made a co-host?
Let me see, I shared my screen though, so it should be sharing it. Let's see.
You do have co-host privileges, so that's, I'm not sure. Curiously, this happened in an earlier session this morning.
Yeah, I see it. I see it forwarding on my one screen, but the screen that's showing to you guys is still stuck on the first screen.
Oh.
Is there a reason it's doing that?
Yeah, if you go up to the top, there should be an option to switch the view.
Under slideshow.
I think if you go to the top of the Zoom window under view options.
Okay.
If you have double monitors, it's only going to pick up one. So you have to.
Yeah. I apologize.
No, you're good.
Everybody waiting. Alrighty. Let's see. You may need to unshare to be able to do that. Yeah. Let's see in that. Goodness.
Do you see that option?
No, my whole screen is minimized. So I'm trying to unshare so I can access that.
I think as Sergio said, if you could set it so you select just the PowerPoint instead of the whole computer screen.
Okay. Yeah, I think I had done that. Let me see.
So say worst case scenario, send it over to me and I will share it and you can do the fantastic.
Yeah. Let me do that.
Slide, please.
Let's just do that.
Okay.
Hold on just a second. Sorry, everybody. We'll get you there.
Hang tight, everyone.
2 minutes. Take a 2-minute break. All right, Lindsay, let me email this back to you.
Sure thing. Thanks for your patience, all.
All right, I'm sending it right now.
Okie doke.
So anyway, navigate early alerts. So probably a lot of you are familiar with it already. If you're new to the college, you may have not had to deal with navigate early alerts or not quite sure what it is. But we will give, even if you already know it, you'll get some new information probably today. And hopefully if you're new, you will learn everything you need to know going forward. So in student services, we kind of deal with a lot of things that students maybe have issues with. So in a moment, I was going to show you a slide. So hopefully we can get that up here of the second slide there. If you want to go to the next one. Awesome. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Lindsay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is kind of just a little word cloud of a lot of student issues that come into our office. I'm sure a lot of faculty and other staff, are familiar with these things that students deal with a lot. We definitely have students with disabilities, past trauma, dealing with suicidal ideation, abuse, first generation college students, just you can read through all of those and we kind of deal with all of that. A lot of students dealing with homelessness. And then of course, COVID brought a lot of new challenges as well. So these are all kind of things that we also get information from you guys from our early alert system. So going forward, if you know you have students that kind of have any of these types of issues, not just academic issues as well, you can definitely let us know through early alerts. So we're going to go through the different types and how to do all of that. So you can go ahead to the next slide. So this is just a kind of a reminder for everyone. I'm sure everyone's probably seen something like this before. Success on the left side, what people think it looks like. And I think a lot of students often come in thinking that's what it should look like. But on the right-hand side is what it really looks like. And especially if students are dealing with a lot of other issues, family concerns, job concerns, all of those kind of things. They can have issues with their classes, failing classes, all those kind of things. So it's more what it is on the right-hand side there. So you can go ahead and go to the next slide. And I like this little picture. It's just a reminder to kind of show grace to your students. So even if you have been through the same issues a student has been through, or, it can affect people differently. So all of those kinds of things, if they're having, 5 to 10 of those things on the list happening at once, they can really be having a lot harder time dealing with something. Even if you're familiar with it, it could be harder for someone else to deal with those things as well. So just a reminder to kind of show some grace to your students, especially, post-pandemic here, trying to get back on track with their classes and all of that kind of thing. So you can go to the next slide. So the first question is, what is the early alert system? So we have Navigate, and that is our student success platform. And basically it kind of has 3 features that support the early alert system. So we have alerts, cases, and progress reports. And all 3 of those aid with the retention at the college and graduation rates of students. And it also can help the lives of the students and their families as well. So the first one, this is just kind of a brief overview, but alerts let any support staff, so faculty, staff at the college, anyone who has the ability to issue alerts and navigate, they can draw attention to the student for any reason that's listed as one of our, our alerts or case reasons, and we'll kind of go through those in a few minutes. And then cases, which are created out of alerts. So I'll explain that a little bit more in a few minutes. But they basically, those particular alerts are going to create an electronic case file where staff can reach out, coordinate, and collaborate on follow-up with the student, and also create case file and navigate that can be viewed as well by particular staff as well. And then progress reports, that is something that lets administrators request feedback periodically during a semester. So we'll go over that toward the end a little bit more, but we do periodically send out, you'll probably see emails from me periodically throughout the semester requesting a progress report, and the ones we kind of do mostly right now are in danger of failing alerts, which are done sort of mid-semester. And then at the very beginning we do never attended alerts, so we try to reach out to students that maybe haven't started their class yet or didn't realize it had started yet. There's a whole bunch of reasons that can happen. So okay, we can go to the next slide. So first we're going to kind of just focus on the alerts and cases. So currently for us at Virginia Peninsula Community College, we have 14 alerts that we've created in our Navigate system. So our alerts, so they're all basically set up as alerts, but like I said, certain ones create cases that come to the early alert team. So a lot of the alerts that don't create cases are just going to create a notification to the student, and we don't necessarily follow up on those by reaching out to the student. Only the ones that create cases do we follow up on. Okay, you can go to the next one. So this is the list of the alerts in the system that do not create cases. So if you open an alert in the system, and we'll go through how to do that in a few minutes, but these are the ones that are going to basically alert the student, not the early alert team. And those are going to be the attendance concern, assignment concern, and we have 3 positive alerts, which are the great start, keep up the good work, outstanding academic performance, and then we have low participation, and then low quiz or test score. And you can go to the next slide there. And I'm going to go through some of these a little bit. Now at the bottom of all these slides, I have included the automated message that goes to students when you open that alert. I'm not going to read all of those, but you can kind of scroll along with me. So the first one is our attendance concern. We generally ask that you use that if there's a concern with the student's attendance. So generally 3 or more absences. And that's going to send that email to the student that's below. And you can go to the next screen. For the workforce development side, I got a question if it applies to the workforce development side. No, it currently does not. And we can talk about that and see if that's an option that we can provide as well. And then the next alert is going to be an assignment concern. So anytime you think a student could do a better job of completing or submitting an assignment, you can open that alert. It's going to send that bottom navigate message to the student. We have it including the tutoring information, so they can reach out to Corey Buttram. It has her email address and also the web page for tutoring to get extra assistance. All right, you can go to the next one. And then again, just those 3 positive alerts that are in the system. And you don't need to list the student as at risk to do a positive alert in the system. Just a little note there. So if you think a student's doing great at the beginning of the semester, you can send them a great start alert. It goes to their email, gives them some, positive feedback that they're doing great and keep up the good work. Okay, next. And then keep up the good work is one that you could say, if they're doing well in the course, you appreciate their dedication and hard work. And that one's going to send the below email to the student as well. Okay. And then the third one is outstanding academic performance. So if you think a student's doing an outstanding job in the course, it's going to send that below message to the student's email. All right. And then low participation. So if a student's not participating in the course as you expect them to, that one's not going to create an early alert team case, and then it sends that below email to the student as well. Okay. And the last alert then would be low quiz or test score. And that will send the below email. Again, we provide information on tutoring, and it sends that email to the student as well. All right. Now, this is a list of alerts in the system that will create a case for the early alert team. So those will send an automated message, but also we will get a case for them and reach out to them. Yes, I'll provide a copy of everything if anybody needs it. That's kind of the way I made the slide so we could share it with everybody and use it as further training. So yeah, we can definitely send everything out. Sure. So the alerts that create cases are going to be never attended, in danger of failing, general concern, student engagement and participation concern, online learning concern, tutoring alerts, and we have a new one that's the single stop alert. All right, and then if we go to the next slide, we'll kind of go through those a little bit more. Oh, and then this is kind of a list of staff at the college who might be handling your alert cases. So currently we have an early alert team which handles the bulk of the cases. That's going to be myself, Catherine Hart, and Faye Drotton. And we kind of divide those up alphabetically and address those. Additionally, if there is a disability or counseling concern, the Office of Accessibility would handle those. Corey Buttram is automatically assigned all tutoring cases. Ramona Vassar and Sanja Vega are automatically assigned the single stop cases in the system. Also this year, David Lannon will be assisting us with Veterans Affairs related cases, and dual enrollment coordinators, Camille Sims, Maggie Haley, and Linda Hubbard will help out with dual enrolled students. Also, likely TRIO counselors will also be assisting with some TRIO early alerts as well. All right, and then we can go to the next one. So we'll kind of go over the cases a little bit more. So the never attended, which we also send out as a progress report, but it can be issued as an alert as well. It's a non-punitive alert, so it's not going to harm the student's, account or the record or anything like that. We just basically reach out to them if they've not attended the first class or logged into their course on the first day. So those students, we reach out to them. There's a whole host of reasons they maybe have not, either they, often they didn't know the class had started, especially if it's a class that starts later in the semester. They didn't realize they were registered for classes, one we often get. Sometimes it's IT or Wi-Fi issues, a whole host of reasons. So they're all kind of unique cases that really just need to be figured out what the issue is and dealt with. So those also get an automated message when the case is open as well. And those are those bottom messages as well. All right, we can go on to the next one. So then there was another question about the emails that go out. So those are typically just automated in the system that we have. So we ask if you do have, some additional information for a student, it would probably be best to email them directly as well. If there are particular assignments that need to be completed, I would recommend emailing the student and then also entering an alert for us as well. So for in danger of failing, and we also send this out as in the progress report later in the semester. But if a student is at risk to fail the class, if you have any concerns about their academic progress, if at that point they're not kind of disappeared or not attending the class, definitely open an in danger of failing alert which will turn into a case for us. And then we will definitely reach out to those students and bring in a lot of those other people that can address the early alert for that student as well. Sometimes even contacting their academic advisor or things like that as well. And then that automated message does also have the tutoring information for the student as well before we even reach out to them. All right. We can go to the next one. So general concern is one that's a little bit different. It doesn't have a real specific time to use it. It's sort of a catch-all. So if it doesn't fit in with something else that we have, you can just definitely use general concern. The thing with general concern, it is not going to send an automated message, because it can be so many different things. So often if there's a counseling issue that needs to be addressed, housing issue, Office of Accessibility, which I see I didn't change that over there. Any kind of other issue, you can let us know. And we definitely ask that you fill in the comments part on that one, just so we know what it is that we're calling them about. Sometimes I get them and I don't have any further information, so I'm kind of reaching out to the student and not quite sure, what their issue they're dealing with is. So that definitely having some additional comments there is really helpful. And also just a reminder when you do, and we'll go over this again in a minute, but try not to include any personal or HIPAA protected information in your alerts. And we'll go over why in just a few minutes. But okay, you can go on to the next one. And then another case we have is student engagement and participation concern. So that's pretty, obvious what that is. If a student's not participating, not engaged in class, maybe if it's a synchronous class and they're not participating in that way or not having their camera on if they need to be, that kind of thing. Definitely send that alert, and it sends them the email below as well. Right, and then an online learning concern. So this one kind of developed, we started with during COVID and then kind of changed it to have just a permanent online learning concern, where students maybe are dealing with either logging into Canvas, the course, don't have a computer, don't have reliable Wi-Fi, any of those kind of things, IT kind of issues that they're not sure if it goes to IT help desk. That kind of thing where we can reach out and kind of see what the issue is with the student and see if we can either, get them a hotspot or a laptop, any of those kind of things. All right, and they do get that automated message for those as well. All right. And then tutoring concern, those are set up to automatically go to Corey Buttram, and she and her staff will reach out and attempt to connect the student with tutoring, help try to get them, an appointment with tutoring, see what their needs are for the class. Those are also helpful to put comments in so she knows really what the student might need help with. If there's a particular area or an assignment or something, if you think the student needs help with that, that's really helpful for her as well. And then those automated messages go out as well. All right. And then we created a new alert, I think over the summer, which is our single stop alert. So that one goes to our single stop office, which is a VCCS program. Sanja Vega and Ramona Vassar get those automatically. They will do a benefit screening with them to see if students are available for, or eligible for federal or state benefits, SNAP program, Medicaid, any assistance with their utilities, also assist with like legal aid, legal counseling, financial counseling, and referrals. Ramona is awesome, worked in social services before, so she knows like everything there is to know about social services. So she's a great resource if anybody has questions about, a student that may be struggling, and definitely just open an alert for that. The laptops, I'm not 100% sure if we'll be having them this semester. I have to follow up with Corey on that. I haven't heard the latest on that one, so I'm not sure. I'm sorry, I don't have the answer for that. And then for a single stop alert, that also does not send a message to the student. So they're not necessarily aware, that was raised on them until we reach out to them. Okay. All right.
Just a quick note, Doreen, they mentioned yesterday that they were not going to do loaner laptops.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. And then again, I just wanted to reiterate not putting sensitive, private, HIPAA protected information in alerts. So basically a student could subpoena their official records. So we just don't want to put that information in there, and it's protected by FERPA and all of those things. So just be cognizant when you're filling it out, would I want this information to be in the system? And if it's not, just avoid it. You can, if it's something we need to know, you can give me a call or something rather than putting it directly into the system. So I would appreciate that one. Thanks so much. All right, and then we can go on to the next one. So after, we kind of have different outreach depending on what the type of case is and, how we reach out to them, which office is reaching out to them. So I kind of didn't go too into depth on that one right now, but basically after the student is contacted, either the case is closed, resolved, we reached out to the student, notified them, just depends on what type of case it is. We'll go ahead and close the case out. And it'll usually be, not a long time open. We usually try to do that within 7 days. We do have a few that kind of run long, especially if they aren't being responsive and that kind of thing. So generally what information you will get back if you opened a case on a student, you'll receive the closed case reason, which is the reasons there in blue. And at one point, this was kind of all you got. And I know that was frustrating, and it was frustrating for us too, that we couldn't really convey too much more information. So within the last probably 6 months or so, maybe 9 months, EAB Navigate did update the system, which allows us to provide case closed comments, which is awesome. So it doesn't automatically provide that information. We have to select it. We don't always provide the information, especially if it's sensitive information. So you can definitely, if you needed to know something, can contact us. But generally I try to provide, at least, a few sentences or something to let you know what was done to complete the case. The next steps of what the student's going to do, if they're going to, reach out to tutoring, if they're going to drop the class, that kind of thing. So those are just the general reasons. Negative, we've kind of steered away from now, since generally we at least contact every student by email and text message. So every student's at least being contacted in that way. And then we do go through and try to call, kind of the most important dire ones first, and then kind of work our way down and calling students. And then there's a few in there. So generally most of them will be neutrally closed if we did reach out and they did not respond to us. But anything that is closed positive, that's something we were able to get in contact with the student. We were able to resolve the issue. The students, made an appointment with their professor. They're working on, making up an exam, blah, blah, blah. Any of those kind of things will be a positive outcome for us. And then we do let you know if the student has plans to drop the class or withdraw from the class, or if they already have. So that's another common one. Some of the other ones we don't quite use too much, but usually I'll include some explanation as well for you if I use any of the other ones as well. All right, we can go on to the next one. So I also wanted to let folks know, I'm not sure if everyone in here is faculty, but alerts are not just for faculty. So anyone that has permissions to raise an alert in Navigate can definitely do that. And I put some on here that are really, useful for anybody to use. So general concern, definitely helpful if you come across a student, if you're an advisor or whatever that recognizes a student has an issue, you can definitely open a general concern. You can do online learning concern if you know a student's having, computer issues or anything like that. The tutoring alerts, you don't have to be, the student's instructor to do that. If you hear that student's having trouble, you can definitely do that. You just don't need to associate it with a class either. So, and then the single stop alert, anyone that finds a student that has any of those issues can also go ahead and send in a single stop alert. So they'll reach out to the student and help connect them to benefits and services. All right. So next we're going to kind of go over how to issue alerts. So we've sort of separated alerts and cases over on one side and then progress reports on another side. So we'll kind of separate them a little bit. So definitely you can issue, they kind of call it an ad hoc individual alert, or issue an alert at any time during the semester. So you don't need to wait for the progress report to come around to let us know a student's struggling in a class. You can definitely issue an alert anytime, and we address those the same way if there is a case that comes to us. And then the progress reports, I send those out periodically during the sessions. We'll do never attendeds the first few days of the class, and then in danger of failing later on, closer toward the withdrawal date for the class. And those we'll go over how to do both. So we can go on to the next one there. All right, so if you are going to issue an alert at any time during the semester, this is not the progress report. This is just, hey, the student's struggling or having an issue, I want to issue an alert. And that could be an alert, and it could also be an alert that creates a case. So basically, one of the easiest ways is just to go to the students page under Navigate, and then you can see where the little red circle is, where issue an alert is listed. You'll click on that, and then on the next slide there, you'll choose one of the alert reasons, and that could either be an alert or an alert that creates a case, and they're all listed there. And then right below that, it's going to ask you if it's associated with a specific class. That's not required to issue the alert, but it is helpful if it is related to a class to go ahead and select that information for us, so we can, really gear our outreach to related to a specific class for that student. And then below that, additional comments. So anything you can include there, particularly when you've already reached out to the student and contacted them 5 times by phone, text, email, any of that information is really helpful for us. All right, we can go on to the next one. I'll come back if there are any questions I missed, because some of them I can't quite read the whole thing, so sorry. All right, and then there's other ways to issue alerts. So some of you may not be familiar with all of these. You can issue an alert from the staff home or from your professor home page, and you can select issue an alert from the actions list. And then you can actually go to the next screen. It shows also similarly, you can issue an alert from, if you do an advanced search in Navigate for students, or in your list of assigned students. You can also, select however many students you need to, and then issue an alert on just those students as well.
There was a question, it just said, the question reads, if I leave a comment on an alert, is my specific comment included in the automated email sent to the student?
No, that only comes to us.
Okay.
They'll get the automated message that's put into the system, but we use that information when we reach out to the student.
Mm-hmm. And as it relates to an online learning concern, if there is a Wi-Fi issue, for instance, there was a question that just asked if there was a map of free Wi-Fi access spots available in our college service area.
That's a good question. I know Dr. Harrison a while back had let me know that they were intending to expand Wi-Fi like out into the parking lots and things like that, but I think that is not happening, at least for the near term. So I think we would probably have to follow up with IT on that. I'm not aware of one, but I can definitely check with them on that.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that was thinking not just on our campus, but in the broader community. So if
Yeah,
we were
that's a
trying to
great
help
idea. Actually, we
students-
could probably put that in our resource guide too. That's a good idea. I'm gonna write that one down.
And one more clarification, going back to the comments, what about the alerts that do not create a case? Will a student there see a specific comment that is left by a faculty member?
Generally, no. I would recommend you still contact the student by email and go ahead and reach out to them individually.
Okay, thank you.
Most of those comments are going to ask the student to reach out to their instructor. So at some point, hopefully they would do that. But if I were you, I would probably still send an email as well, especially if there are certain assignments or something really specific that you want to say that maybe doesn't fit in with that information. All right. Okay, so now we're gonna kind of move on to progress reports. So I already explained that we kind of issue progress reports several times throughout the session. I generally send an email about a week before the progress report opens. And then you'll get another email that comes from Navigate that's letting you know that the progress report has opened. And you can access the progress report from the email link or from your professor page in Navigate. So either way. And this little diagram at the bottom just kind of gives you kind of a flow of how the progress reports work. So the administration initiates the progress report, faculty complete the progress report, and then staff and student can receive the email with feedback, which is what we had indicated earlier, same kind of thing, how we follow up with cases. And then the staff member follows up on concerns as well. All right, we can go on to the next one. And then just a little bit more about the timing of when progress reports come out. Again, we do the initial progress report. Those open the first day of a class session, and those are open until the add change date for that session. So they're all different, just depends on what the academic calendar says for that particular session. Some of them are a little bit longer, some of them are a little bit shorter. And then the writing there on the screen is just kind of what's included in the email that I send out, general verbiage of what the email is going to say, that you are being asked to issue never attended alert for all students who did not attend the first class or did not log into an asynchronous course the first day of your blah blah class. So whatever session it is, it'll be listed there. These go out to all faculty and adjunct faculty. And if you don't have a session, 4-week class or an 8-week class, you can disregard that email. It's just a notification that goes out to everyone. And then the actual progress report goes out to only faculty that are teaching in that session. And then likewise, we again, later in the semester, about 2 weeks before the withdrawal deadline, we send out academic progress reports. And you can also issue those alerts and cases, prior to this point. If a student's struggling already, don't hesitate to let us know so we can reach out earlier. But this is sort of reaching out so that they have that off-ramp of withdrawal from the class. We let them know when a withdrawal date is. We recommend they speak to advising. We recommend they speak to financial aid, VA office, all of those different things to sort of determine what works for them. We give them information, if they do fail a class, if it's going to be their third repeat to take it again, we explain what they need to do next time and all of those kind of things. So really all kind of different as well for depending on what the student's circumstances are. All right. And also for that's really helpful when you do give comments, if there's a particular assignment that's preventing them from passing the class, that's always really helpful to know, to be able to give that student that information as well. All right. And then, so like I said, you do get the email that has the link to the progress report, but also if you go to navigate and then you see up in the top corner there where it says Professor Home, there's a little drop down list where some people have multiple things. I don't know what other word to say, but sometimes it says professor. Sometimes if you're a student, you have a student page. Sometimes it's a staff page. So you just want to make sure you're on the professor home page to be able to view the progress report. And you'll see that yellow banner across the top of the page. And that's your progress report. Some people will have, you know, a list of 5 of them if they have 5 classes. Sometimes it'll just be 1. They're all listed individually though, generally if you have different classes listed there. Basically, you just click on the fill out progress report button, and that will take you to your progress report specifically for your classes. And then we can go on to the next slide. So this is just a sample. It's asking, it'll have your students listed, and you can kind of go through each student, see if they have feedback or at risk of failing, fill in any alert reasons. So any of those alert reasons can be selected. Also helpful if they've had, you know, to put absences if they've had multiple absences there. And then their current grade is helpful, not required, and then any comments as well. And then we can go on to the next one. So once you've filled out everything for your class, you have 2 choices. You can either submit only your marked students, but you're not done with the progress report. So it will submit the ones you've already done, but you can come back and complete the rest. Or you can submit unmarked students as not at risk and you're done. And that will submit the progress report for you and go ahead and mark everyone else as not at risk. If you also, you can submit unmarked students as not at risk and say you're all done. So if you have no one in your class that's at risk or has an alert, you can select that and it will go ahead and submit that you've done the progress report, but everyone's a-okay in your class right now. So that's helpful too, to know, you know, not just the students that are having trouble, but how many students are doing well as well. All right. So in the progress reports, just like when you issue an ad hoc alert, if it's whatever the case or alert reason, it will still send those automated messages, the same automated message it would send if you're just issuing an ad hoc alert. So the student will still get that automated message as well. And then if it opens a case, then we'll reach out to them as well, just the same way. All right. Lindsay, did you need me to answer any other questions before I go on to the next one?
Yes, I was just trying to catch up with all of those. One question was just the drop ad date for the 16-week term is the 27th, but it shows the reports due on the 26th. And the question is that because the 27th is a Saturday?
Yes, it was originally the 27th, and then I changed it when I saw it was a Saturday.
Okay, sounds good. And then there was a question about who the contact was to request repeats for a course a 3rd time. Is that now?
Right now
Dr.
it's
Dutch?
no, Dr. Valerie Birch Hall is doing 3rd repeats.
Okay.
And she does have a form I'm aware of that a student may submit first. So if I would just have them reach out to her. She may be able to provide that form that she's kind of seeing if she needs to meet with them or if it's something that she can approve, you know, without having to have a student meeting. That's as far as I know. But there is a form, and also you can reach out to me if you need that form. I have it as well.
Okay, and here's another one. It says, would it be possible to ask the Navigate IT people to link class attendance to progress report so the last day of attendance is automatically filled?
That's a good question. I can follow up on that. I'm not sure that it links that way, but we can check on it and see.
And I think there's just one more question. On the progress report, it asks for a grade. So again, just checking to see what students see. If we put in the grade, do students see that or get a notification of that through the alert?
No, the only thing the student's going to get is the automated message. They will not see their grade. That only comes to us.
Okay. And just a note, Sarah Lynn added to the chat the form for third course attempts. And Keisha Matthews put a note in there if that third course attempt form could also be copied to all the academic division assistants.
Awesome. Maybe Sarah Lynn can do that real quick. Just let me know if you need me to do that though.
And I think we've caught up on all of the comments and questions there that came in. And it's a little flurry right there at the end.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. All right, so we'll kind of move on to the next section then, which is kind of why is faculty response important? So we can go on to the next slide there. So I just wanted to bring this back up again. So one of the reasons faculty response is important because we don't always know that students are dealing with all of these issues. And a lot of, faculty are spending all that time with students in the classroom, developing relationships with students. And, students may not feel comfortable to bring up this information to just anybody or when they come in our office. So you may hear about things that we're not aware of. So if you hear about any of those things that we can assist students with, that's one reason it's really important for you to issue alerts to us so we can assist the students. A lot of you are really awesome about doing this. You have a lot of really caring faculty that, send alerts, send emails, they call, just do an amazing job of supporting their students. So thank you, but also keep doing it because it really makes a difference for students and their families. And always, if you have a question, if you should issue it there or if it should be a Maxient, report or something like that, you can definitely check before doing it and we can let you know what's the best route for it. All right, and then we can go on to the next one. And I just wanted to show this. This is from a search results in Navigate. And I just wanted to sort of let people know, generally when you hear of failing students, you may not necessarily think of students with a 3.0, 4.0, even higher GPAs. And I just wanted to show kind of, this is pulled from the students that have had in danger of failing alerts in Navigate. And these are the GPAs that are listed for those students, and then the numbers of how many students on the left-hand side there. I just wanted to show this to everybody because they may not assume that, students may be struggling, in danger of failing a class if they're doing really well generally with their GPA. So it's just a visual to kind of let you see that just because a student's failing one class, they may have all A's in their other classes. And it goes back to that, the word cloud with all the other issues that students might be dealing with, other issues that are causing them to fail a class or currently failing a class. And it's not always, a student's lazy or, just not putting in effort. Sometimes there's really other kind of unique challenges going on that students are dealing with. So again, just, asking to give some grace to your students. And, it's not always the students down at the bottom that are the failing students. So just a little visual reminder of that one. All right, and we can go on to the next one. And then another reason it's super important for you guys to let us know when students are having issues, particularly in danger of failing. This is a little chart from PeopleSoft query in August that shows, starting back in fall 2017, kind of when we started doing the Navigate alerts, how many students were graduating that had in danger of failing alerts. So over the last few years, and then we kind of had some trouble there during the pandemic period, but you can definitely see that all the efforts of everyone reaching out to students about particularly in danger of failing alerts has really helped increase the number of students that have been able to get through and graduate. Either, if they withdraw a class and then retake it, or if we can help them pull their grade up so they can pass the class. It's really helping them get through and complete their program. So that's a nice little picture there. All right, we can go on to the next one. And then this one is a chart that's pulled from Navigate that's kind of showing faculty response to progress reports. We don't track response from alerts and cases in general, but just from the progress reports. And over time, it's sort of waned a little bit. So also wanted to remind faculty again, it's really important if you can respond to your progress reports. I know you've got so much to do and so many things keeping you busy, but it really is helpful to be able to reach out to the students. So generally though, the EAB Navigate believes that we have a pretty good faculty response for our college, but I just wanted to point out, we can always do better, and it is starting to go down just a little smidge. So we could definitely keep working on that. And that last one was summer 2022. So hopefully this fall we'll see a little uptick. All right, we can go on to the next one. All right, and then just kind of go back over some things that faculty can do. Number one, just participating in the progress reports and issuing alerts is really helpful. All of your work doing those things definitely aid retention for the college and graduation rates for the students. The second one, which I'm sure you've already heard about earlier today and had other training on as well, but just a reminder to issue Maxient alerts for serious concerns, plagiarism, violations of student code of conduct. Those things don't need to come through the early alert system. If there's a serious issue, that needs to get presented through Maxient or an incident report. And that can be found at the bottom of every website page on the Virginia Peninsula Community College website. So you can scroll all the way down to the bottom and you'll see something that says issue a concern, I believe is what it says, and that'll take you to there. You can also upload documentation, things like that too. All right. Another thing that we always struggle with is students having their contact information in SIS accurate. Sometimes we can't reach out to a student, either, their cell phone has been, maybe their cell phone bill didn't get paid, so their cell phone got cut off, and that's maybe the only phone number they have listed, or, they moved or things like that. So anytime anybody can recommend students, about updating their contact information in their SIS Student Center, that's very helpful. Also, again, just trying to give grace and second chances to students. Everybody's dealing with a lot of things, especially with COVID. It's very helpful to students to be able to have those second chances. I hear a lot of great comments about faculty and about how hard they've, helped a student and things like that. And it's really nice to hear. And students will then go tell, their friends and family the positive experience they had, and then that just spreads good words about the college to other people as well. I like this saying. Dr. Harrison actually used to say this all the time, which is find a way to get to yes, which I think is helpful when dealing with whatever students having trouble with. If they're asking for assistance, that kind of thing, is find a way that you can say yes. Sometimes it takes doing something a little differently, creative problem solving, to try to help that student. It doesn't always have to be, the same thing. If there's some way, something that can be done differently to help that student, that's important. And then again, just, assume that students are dealing with all those different unique challenges. It's not necessarily that a student's just being lazy. Often they have a lot going on that that we don't even have to deal with. So they have some challenging issues. Definitely would like faculty to talk or meet with their students first. It's helpful for you guys to reach out to students that are having issues in their classes first, and then if it needs to be be escalated, that's something helpful. And then issuing a case or an alert at that point and giving us comments about what has already been discussed or what you've already done to try to reach out to the student if they haven't been responsive. That kind of thing is helpful, but definitely trying to make that first step yourself and reaching out to the student is great. Oh, and then filling out the comments box, I already said that. And then also, if you're not sure how to issue an alert later on, if you're confused, if you're not entirely sure what type of alert, you can always just email me. I always have my computer on all day when I'm here, so I'm pretty good about responding. So definitely even just a question, not sure, or even if it should be, like things that you're not sure should be listed in the case or in the comments, something that's a little bit more private information or something like that, you can definitely reach out to me as well. All right, and then we can go on to the next one. And then just a reminder that, helping one person might not change the whole world, but it could change the world for one person. So I just love this picture of a fish sharing his water with the other fish that's sort of out of water and helping him out. So, and we rise by lifting others. I just wanted to put that there and show, we're trying to create a culture of caring at the college, and just a reminder to kind of, be extra supportive of your students in the fall. If they're having issues, definitely reach out to us if we can help them in any way. Issue those single stop alerts if they need support, financial support, or connection with social services and that kind of thing. And hopefully we can help everybody out. And I think that's about it. I think there's just one other slide there with my contact information. And then I have some other slides after it that kind of have just general questions that might be asked. But that's my contact information. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me anytime. And otherwise, I hope everyone has a great fall semester. And I'll be sending out initial progress reports for several of the sessions on Monday. All right.
Sounds good. Thanks, Doreen.
You're welcome.
Were there any other questions?
I do have a comment. I just want to say excellent presentation, Ms. Doreen. I truly appreciate it. I don't know, Miss Lindsay, are you able to go back 2 screens? I mean, 2 slides, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I certainly can.
Just wanted to re-emphasize, I think, there we are. Point number 7, to talk with or meet with students first. If you attended convocation yesterday, one of the points that I made was one of our priorities will be retention. Navigate is a huge retention tool, and I am focusing on number 7 because it's so important. It includes engagement with the student, and it's better that they initially hear from the faculty member if there are concerns around attendance, performance, those types of things, versus someone else at the college. It allows for that connection for them to understand that the faculty has tried. And so re-emphasizing the point of that alert being raised once the faculty member has attempted. So you attempted via phone, you attempted via email, those types of things. It's helpful for that student to feel as though that they're connected with that faculty member versus the student didn't show up for 4 days and now someone else at the college is saying, hey, do you know you're not doing well in so-and-so's class? And they're like, well, wow, why didn't I hear from the instructor? So again, it makes for a better line of communication with our students based upon their progress in the classes.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Michelle, I see your hand raised.
Yeah, thank you, Doreen. I wanted to comment. You mentioned that the system now allows you to put in comments to say, like, if you did talk to the student, to add in a few things. I noticed that over the last 6 months, and that was incredibly helpful, especially like for students who we had been trying to contact that are not reaching out to us. I just noticed that not everybody did it, but so maybe just a point of feedback to the alert counselors, like when those comments were there, that was so helpful as the faculty member to be able to like not just see that you talked to the person and the flag was discussed, but to kind of hear a couple things, because then I know, like, for example, there was one that said, you know, students said they were going to reach out. And so then I would reach out again and say, hey, I know you've talked to somebody. I'm still trying to get in contact. So it's just really, I just wanted to say that those extra comments are incredibly helpful. And if you all can keep them coming, I know you have a lot of alerts that you respond to, but they were very helpful on my end.
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to hear that. That was something that a lot of us were, and I know at other colleges were frustrated too, and they have an idea portal on EAB, and I think I put it on there like 4 times. And every time we had a meeting, I would bring it up. That's so frustrating. Why can't we, you know, include some other comments? So finally they, I guess, got enough people complaining about it that they found a way to do that. But also it doesn't automatically do that. Like I said, there is a little box that you have to tick to share those comments, and kind of also depending on what the issue is, if it's something that's, you know, dealing with private issues for a student or something, we may not always click on those. I try to definitely, that's like my standard is to try to click on it. So I'll definitely follow up with everybody and make sure we're trying to do that as much as possible. Because I know it's difficult to just get that case closed comment and then go, well, what happened? So yeah, I appreciate that.
Any other questions or comments? Great. Well, Doreen, this was great. It was really good to have that refresher and learn some new information as well. So thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. So definitely reach out though if anybody has any questions during the semester. All right.
Thank you all. Have a good rest of your afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.